You didn't need to see this to know. That's pretty much how I feel. I think there's just been this feeling of, since I was a child, I mean, I remember just dreaming I could fly. I remember reinserting myself into the same dream over and over, like, okay, we're going to make this happen. And I would look at my family and be like, what the hell? Why am I with these people? But anyway, I was like, I know there's something to this. I know there's something more. I think over time, we just get to the point where we're like, no, I don't want contact, because I think they try to paint that as negative in movies, like, oh, we're all gonna get anal probed, we're all gonna get, dissected, kidnapped. I definitely see a lot of trauma in people who claim to be abductees. They're having a hard time functioning. Is that something okay, I hear you say we're gonna meet our star family. How do we know that contact is gonna be positive? Like,
shoot, how many hours you want to go on this?
I mean, not too many, but
Okay. We at the stage right now where we know there's a global alliance connected to the 17 operation, because we can't say the other thing because we got to walk on aid shells for the fucking Archons. That's been going on for at least 4 years. I mean, you look at it now. Look at that raid recently. That's evidence of this alliance. And what we have learned recently, especially from my friend Elena Danan, is the Federation is also part of the 17 operation. So that's what you need to understand. You need to understand that sci-fi has always been real. It's just your ass didn't know about it.
Right. All right. Because you know what? I used to love Star Trek and Star Wars. I don't know how I ever felt about Star Wars, but Star Trek, like, that just seemed like, this makes sense. A lot of things I see in movies make sense. I think it gets laughed at a lot because you can say, oh, it was in a movie, and they're like, okay, you've gone too far. Are the movies that we watch, are those made to reveal to us, or is it made to water it down so that it's to the point where it's like, if you believe in a movie, it's a joke that you believe that's real? Is it there to help us see, or is it here to help confuse? What do you guys think about that? I'm gonna open that up to Marvel. What do you think? Why are they making so many movies? They can't stop making movies about aliens, the end of the world, the man who fell to Earth, which next week, Wednesday, we will talk to one of the men who fell to Earth. This is what his story is. He fell to Earth. He's a walk-in, and he doesn't know necessarily how he got here. So, Stephanie, tell me about it.
Yeah, so I think this all goes back into influencing the masses through the media or through our movies. So they want to influence it in a way where someone may look ridiculous or crazy bringing these stories across, like, this happened to me. Oh, that happened in the science fiction movie. Not realizing that science fiction, there's actually a lot of truth and disclosure within these movies hidden in there. So I really feel like it's just one of those ways that they try to gaslight us in a way to maybe even influence or discredit those people that would be coming forth, because there are things going on that, both good and bad, that are being portrayed in these movies, and it's just another way to kind of disguise the truth that others may bring forth as just total bullshit, which it's not. I mean, we all know that, but that's how I feel it's going on. And not only that, but the people watching these videos, especially the ones who maybe not be fully active yet, or even active, they can influence the timeline. So you have a mass amount of people watching these movies, and then they're going to be influencing what's going on around them, because they'll either be at a point where they can influence what's going on in the consciousness field or the the metaphor or the the what word am I looking for here? The morphinogenic field influence that just from their thoughts. So you get enough people watching these movies, it will instantly either hinder or improve the timeline based on their genetics and what they're tapping into.
So basically, you're saying like root consciousness can influence the outcome. It's kind of like what they call predictive programming, because if you saw it happen here and then you think it in real life, you can actually manifest and change a timeline. You called it the morphogenic field.
Yes.
I think, okay. So is that, I mean, I guess, you know, it's so funny because I talk to my sister about stuff like this all the time. And she was like, I don't want to meet no aliens because I ain't never seen anything good in a movie that happened when you saw an alien. So it's like programming you to think that it must be the worst. I do also hear, though, as we're delving into our gifts and talents and we're making all this communication in the astro, and I would also assume on whatever level with beings, higher beings, that you do need to be careful who you're making contact with, because I don't know, like, do they disguise themselves as others, like pretend to be benevolent but might also be benevolent, you know? How does that work?
Yeah, so I was just talking about this the other day with with somebody. Actually, she was mentioning it. There's a being going around portraying himself as Archangel Michael, and it was not Archangel Michael. It was actually somebody who wasn't. So this is the same kind of thing that would happen in higher densities, maybe with not so nice beings out there. They will portray themselves because they have a higher density level, and they can be either shapeshifters or just have some kind of influence on because they are that higher density, to show themselves as something that they're not. And people will often be fooled by these beings. So I think it's very smart what you're saying, that even if you think